Happy Saturday, guys. It is so great to do a show on a Saturday, to not be bouncing all over places, to not be glued to a TV, because right now we're in the middle of the NFL draft. And beyond that, it is the weekend. I want to say happy Super Saturday, happy sunny Saturday, but here in Miami, it is pouring out. It is disgusting. So wherever you're watching, I sure hope that it is sunny because it is not sunny here, and it's actually supposed to be raining here the next like 6 days. So hopefully you're watching from a nice sunny place with a margarita in your hand and everything. Last episode we had Richmond Webb on, and it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know Richmond for who he is, who he was off on the field and off the field. Such a nice guy. So thank you again, Richmond, for being on the show. Since then, a lot has happened in Miami sports, like usual, but really exciting things. So, the Miami Heat advanced to the next round of the playoffs. We are starting our new journey against the 76ers. Florida Panthers are starting their journey in the playoffs. They start on Tuesday against the Capitals. And then the Marlins have had a tremendous last week success, something we're typically not used to being Marlins fans. And then the Dolphins, of course, are progressing our way through the draft, the 2022 draft, and have picked up two draft picks currently, and we're excited to see where that goes. So without further ado, bringing on my co-host, Lou. You've seen him on the show before, and he's just busting out the seams to help me talk about what's going on in sports and have his intake. So without further ado, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh, there's feedback. Hold on. Okay, so perfect. All right, so let's just get into it. Yesterday, you're on the couch, I was in the room, and I come in here real quick, and I'm like, "Did you hear what happened?" And he was like, "What?" And I'm sure you thought like maybe something with the NFL draft because obviously that was going on. And I was like, "Did you hear about 76ers?" And you're like, "No." And I'm like, "Joel Embiid." And you're like, "What?" And I told you, and you're like, "I don't think that's right." So then you were like, "Where'd you hear it from?" And I'm like, "Well, it's breaking everywhere." So then you saw it. So what's going on? We know that, he took a hard hit the last game against the Raptors. He has a break and a concussion, and they're saying he's out indefinitely. So what do you think? What happens from now?
Yeah, no, it was shocking when you told me. It actually broke right before Game 6 of the Timberwolves Grizzlies series, and no one, I mean, it came out of nowhere. So, and you never want to see that. Joel Embiid, most likely going to be the MVP. I know Joker over at Denver is the reigning MVP, and he had a tremendous season, had some amazing stats, and is deserving of repeating. But really, Joel this year is deserving of it. His team finished higher ranking than Denver. He was a scoring champ, so you don't want to see that. You don't want to see an injury like that take place. And really, again, came out of nowhere. A lot of people are saying that he should have been in the game. Sixers already won. A lot of people also saying, which is true, you never want to keep a team in a series, and that's particularly why you risk the chance of an injury like that occurring. And so that was tough to see. We know he's definitely going to be out game one. He said that he has to sit out a minimum of 5 games, or 5 days, I should say, which would put him at Wednesday would be when he could possibly come back. But he's definitely going to miss game one, and that's a shocking development to start the series.
Perfect. Are you on the Wi-Fi, by the way?
I am not.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that obviously is not good news for 76ers and for the league as a whole because Joel Embiid does bring a lot to the NBA, and it seems like one core player every year during the NBA playoffs goes down. So it's unfortunate that it was Joel Embiid right now, but wishing him all the best.
It's happened already in this playoffs. The defending champs, Chris Middleton, is likely not to come back for this series against the Celtics.
Yes.
And Devin Booker was out for about 3 or 4 games, but they were able to survive. He did come back for Game 6 against the Pelicans, but it's already happened with stars being out in these playoffs already.
So enough about the other players. Let's focus on the Heat. All right, so we advanced. Congratulations to the Heat. We had a good series against the Hawks. There's a lot of things that I liked. There's a lot of things that I'm kind of like, that I didn't really. For one thing, we shut down Trae Young. I mean, who he was all season and then how he showed up against us, it was not the same player. And I'm not discrediting him. He's one of the best players in the NBA. but our defense really caused him to struggle.
Yeah, no doubt. And a lot of people were saying that a lot of people were calling him Ice Tray because he was cold in the series.
I heard ashtray, anything tray.
That too. But it was more so the Heat doing that. It's not by coincidence that 6 of the 7, if you include the regular season, lowest output games happened to be against the Heat. They really, locked him up, bottled him up, and he wasn't able to do what he normally does at a historic level. I mean, to go from almost 28 points per game to 15.4 per game. The fact that he had more turnovers than field goals, record lows in his field goal percentage, and definitely from 3-point land, he fires from all over the court, including half court sometimes. And he shot 18.4% from 3-point land. So just the Heat did an amazing job of stopping him and shutting him down.
Definitely. So moving forward, well, actually moving backwards a little bit. So Jimmy Butler, against that last game against the Hawks, we get the announcement 2 hours before, 2 or 3 hours before tip-off that he wasn't playing. And it was truly, for me, a punch in the gut. That doesn't mean I'm not confident in my team without him, but he's produced so well in the playoffs that it was like, oh my gosh. But he is back. He's projected. He is playing game 1. It just came out. A coach posted for sure game 1. But one player that I'm feeling like up and down, and at the game that we went to the last game, I was like shouting things about him, and then I'm like, it's like back and forth, is Bam Adebayo. So what I've noticed about Bam, especially at the last game, is like he takes a little bit to heat up. He's not as aggressive as I'd want him to be, and that's not even just shooting in the paint. That's also like getting rebounds and progressing. It just seems that he took a while to heat up. So when he does that, I'm quick to say, take him out, put Dedmon in. So I know I need to be patient with him, but it's like, come on, bro. Like, this is the time where I need you to, don't be scared to go up, take the foul. Like, you get the ball, you get the rebound, you're going straight up to the, to the paint, or you're going straight up to the rim and stuff. But on that token, if he doesn't show up and he is kind of like slacking, Dedmon's ready to go in. And Dedmon is a heck of a player. And I'm just as much as I'm confident in Bam, Dedmon can, put points on the board and get rebounds as well. So very fortunate to have Dedmon, as a backup for Bam. And, if Bam doesn't produce the way we need him to, Dedmon definitely needs to go in.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, it's a significant drop-off from Bam to Dedmon. To your point, he has not been as aggressive as he has in the past. He did miss 6 weeks in the season, and then we've had a lot of injuries. In my opinion, we're the deepest team in the league.
Yeah.
We have guys that you saw Jimmy out, you saw Kyle out. There's not a lot of teams that could have 2 starters out and win a playoff closeout game. So we're very deep, and the fact is that Bam's been playing with a multitude of guys, and it's been an adjustment for him. But let's not mistake or get it twisted here. He's the first option to be on the floor. He does have to be more aggressive, but he's got to be out there. What he brings defensively, he's a tremendous voice in the huddles, and so Bam brings so much to the table. He's done it before. And he's just got to, know how to put his head down, get to the basket, be aggressive, and be the Bam that we know he could be.
I'll tell you one player who I'm tremendously excited for, a lot of respect for, even more respect now, is Victor Oladipo. So the end of the season, like obviously he was still not coming back, and it's been like 2 years, and I'm like, what are we doing with this guy? It was more like a fashion show. He'd come and be the best dressed, but he's still sitting on the bench. And then, he started to come back slowly, maybe a game or 2. We'd see him later. And then he had a great game against Orlando our last game. And then the last playoff game, he was tremendous. And then even more, his post game, touched everybody. I mean, he's so honest. And he even said, hey, last year at this time, I was in such a deep, dark place. And everyone goes through those moments, but to hear somebody to that caliber to be so vulnerable and to say, listen, this is where I was, this is where I'm now, this is where I hope to be. It was just great to hear that, hey, he is human at the end of the day, and he's a great addition to our team. Unfortunately, the injury did set him back, but I think it's smooth sailing from here with Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, I mean, he got his chance to play because, Butler and Kyle were out, but he's still working his way back. He's got to prove that he can do it on a consistent basis. And the minutes, NBA minutes, what you do in a practice, what you do in a scrimmage is not the same thing as playoff basketball. So he had a great game. And yes, we're very proud of everything he's accomplished. This is a 2-time All-Star with the Pacers previously. And he's been injured. He's been injured, and so he finally got his number called, and he proved he could, be in the rotation. But it's gonna depend on who's out there and also the matchups. So, but that was great to see. Extremely proud and happy for Victor, and he deserves everything because he's definitely been putting in the work to get to where he is now.
Another player that I've thoroughly enjoyed watching, especially the second half of the season going to the playoffs, obviously my favorite player, Max Strus. When he's so confident, and when he's consistent, he's very, very consistent. I love to see him develop, to where he's at now. So really happy that he is in the starting rotation. We started seeing that towards the end of the season, and now he's a consistent starter. So that's really exciting. One player that I definitely want to see more of, to see him really get to his full potential, because I know he can, is Tyler Hero. I'll be the first to admit, Miami fans, we love Tyler Hero. When he comes in at the FTX, place goes wild. He's our guy. But it's been so-so, the postseason with him. So I really hope that, Tyler Time gets back. And, when we need those 10, 20 points from Tyler and his defense and his passion and his energy, I hope that, he delivers more, especially going into this series against the 76ers.
Yeah, and his time will come. The playoffs are weird. It's all about matchups. You're seeing the same team for a 7-game series or potentially a 7-game series. And so he was quiet in this first round, but other guys weren't quiet. Again, we're so deep. The fact that Duncan Robinson really had a breakout game one, he was a story game one, 28 points. And then the rest of the series, the remaining 4 games, he only scored 5 points. So he scored 28 points in game one and then a total of 5 points the remainder of the series. Just goes to show you there's so many guys that we've been getting involved. And his role was changed a little bit with Jimmy and Kyle. Kyle missed 3 games, and Jimmy missed the clincher. So his time will come. He's going to get a lot of good looks in this upcoming series and hopefully moving forward. And so I'm not worried at all about Tyler. He'll get his opportunity to shine. He's going to have some big breakout games coming up.
Perfect. And then also with Kyle Lowry, I'm sure hoping, he is missed. He is a tremendous asset to our team. But then we also have guys who, going into the season, they weren't on my radar and they weren't on a lot of people's radar, who've really stepped up. Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin. So I think all is well. I think we're still okay. So next series obviously starts Monday, Wednesday. The 76ers come into town, and then Friday, Sunday, we go to Philly. How are you feeling about this series? Well, before you jump into it, we played the Sixers very, very late in the season, and I didn't like how that game went. Granted, we were still coming back, and they had some people out, but I didn't like how that game went, and that is not a dictation of how the series will go. But the one guy who the 76ers have that we really, really, really need to play like how we played Trey is Maxey. The same way we played Trey, the same way we pressured Trey, put him in a corner, we have to play this guy Maxey the same way. How do you feel about the series?
Yeah, no, look, we have home court advantage, and again, with this news of Joel's going to miss at least game one and potentially more, you got to feel good about it.
Yeah.
And also, when the bracket came out, we looked at it, and everybody would say that you don't want to play defending champs. And then the team that was the hottest team in the second half was the Boston Celtics. So I'm not trying to slight the Sixers, but we're in the bracket, the right side of the bracket, which is a better path for us rather than playing Milwaukee or Boston, who are finished ahead of the Sixers for a reason, and right now are a little bit more of a challenge, especially the way they ended their series quickly. Boston in the sweep and Milwaukee in 5 games against the Bulls. So I feel good about it. And you mentioned that we lost to them late in the year, but earlier in the year, without Jimmy and without Bam, we won in Philly. So, and you mentioned Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent has actually had his 2 highest career games against the Sixers. So
he does so well against them. I even heard rumors that the Sixers actually want him on the team just because how well he plays against them and in Philly. So guys, you cannot have him, but just know that, I'm sure the way I feel about Max, you probably feel the same way about him. So
yeah, he's got to feel super confident going in. Again, his 2 highest games career-wise came against the 76ers. And it's going to be also, it's a good problem to have for Spo, but with Victor showing what he did in Game 5 and Kyle coming back, he got 3 point guards. Not to mention that Jimmy brings the ball up the floor a lot as well, and Tyler does too. So again, we're so deep, so many options, and it's a really good problem to have when you're advancing this late in the playoffs to be deep.
Definitely. So, like I said, game 1 Monday, game 2 on Wednesday, game 3 Friday, and then game 4 on Sunday. So you're thinking Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. What am I going to do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday? Well, sports fans, South Florida sports fans, don't worry. I got something for you because on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, our Florida Panthers are also in the playoffs. We go the first round. They recently won the President's Cup, and which is amazing. Congratulations! And we found out just a few days ago that now round 1 of the playoffs we play the Washington Capitals. So we play them Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. This team has grown on myself. It's grown on Lou. We've always known about the Panthers. I mean, we've caught games, but the past few weeks have been fantastic. We've actually, been to a game. We went to an event on Thursday, a watch party at FLA Live, and we love it. We are drinking the Kool-Aid, and we are definitely excited to see where the Panthers go. We have a great ticket rep. His name is Jeremy Barber. So if you guys are looking for season tickets for next year or even playoff tickets, definitely contact Jeremy Barber. He is your guy. But no, the Panthers, they're such a fun team to watch. And the more like we indulge in it and hear their stories and, the younger guys, the older guys, and the excitement around it, I'm really, really excited for their Stanley Cup push, their Stanley Cup journey to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, no doubt. And so it does. You confirmed it does start Tuesday. They'll be playing here Tuesday, Thursday, and it is against the Capitals, which is a former division rival of theirs. And so there's so much excitement going on in town. It's really fortunate that they're going to be playing on different days because
so perfect.
There are people out there that have tickets to both, and also it's not a problem in other markets. A lot of markets that have both a hockey and a basketball team share the arena. Miami is one of the few exceptions. I think only Phoenix is the only other city that has both a basketball and a hockey team that don't share the same arena. The Kings also. So there are a couple, but the Kings do share an arena. But the Panthers and the Coyotes are two hockey teams that don't share the same building. So it's good that it worked out that way, because it would have been a hard decision if you are a season ticket holder of both teams and have to pick which playoff game you want to go to. You never want to see that. So glad it worked out.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great for the whole South Florida. I keep counting my chickens before they were hatched, and I keep thinking, like, how great would it be to have 2 championship parades this year? One for the Heat, one for the Panthers. It would be an amazing thing. I know I need to relax. The chickens are not hatched yet, but they're hatching in my head. So I sure hope that does happen. But regardless, we're super proud of both teams for what they're doing, and we look forward to the Panthers and the Heat. The next step of their playoffs. Also, I'll tell you one thing with the Panthers. They are a great organization, and their community outreach in their arena is top notch. Like I said, we went to a watch party on Thursday. It was fantastic. The food, the people, everything about it is great at FLA Live. And then they have a lot of community events. They have one tonight in Wynwood, like a mural unveiling. And then they have one tomorrow, like a pub crawl and different theme nights. They had an Italian theme. They're big with the military. So truthfully, like FLA Live and the Panthers, you guys do fantastic with community engagement. Your community outreach department is fantastic, and we're happy to. We're excited to start tagging along and getting to know you and your organization more and supporting the team. Okay, so we talked about the Heat, talked about the Panthers, NFL draft. Okay, I'm just gonna say every year I so look forward to NFL draft.
Wait, what did you say? The what draft?
NFL.
Oh. Hold on. That's the best jingle. Sorry, it's a draft jingle. So let's talk about the draft jingle now. The draft.
But okay. Lou did the NFL draft noise, but I don't know if you guys heard. Whatever it is. So NFL draft is personally a time that I love. First of all, getting with all the fans and seeing them, because we haven't seen them since the season ended. And then the stadium, the Hard Rock, always does a fantastic job doing a draft party every year. It's just a great time to get back in the football mode. Yes, we're moved off season, but it's just like really quick. I was able to dust off the Dan Marino jersey and get back in it, right? So this year, the Dolphins, as you guys probably know, were in a weird predicament where we had a first round draft pick, but
and a second round.
But Tyreek Hill, we had an opportunity to get Tyreek Hill. Granted, that wasn't just like, okay, let's get rid of one player, let's give them some money. Kansas City wanted a lot for that, which is understandable and very deserved for somebody like at the caliber of Tyreek Hill. So we signed him and we said, okay, you guys are going to take a lot of these draft picks. We give Tyreek Hill, Cheetah, and it happened. With that, we lost out on a first-round draft pick, but in my mind, Tyreek is our first-round draft pick, which I'm totally good with. So our real 2022 draft pick came in the third round, number 102, and his name, they said Channing, and I thought they said Channing Tatum. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like Channing Tatum's like one of my favorite actors. So I'm like, heck yeah. But no, Channing Tindall from Georgia. And I was like, okay, cool, this is gonna be great. And I started like reading, on Twitter. A lot of people predicted this guy to come to Miami. He was definitely like on the radar. He was gonna be available at that time. So we signed Channing Tindall to the Dolphins. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's what we should have did? Do you think we should have went for a different position? How do you feel about Channing?
No, I think it's a great. We needed help. In the linebacker position, somebody to pair up with Van Ginkel and obviously the leader of the linebacking core, Jerome Baker. So this is a great fit, and it's something that we did. The logic of it, I think you could see it in what we did with Christian Wilkins, which we drafted him out of Clemson after they won a national championship, and Channing just won a national championship with the Georgia Bulldogs, so he's a winner. He's already a winner who could play in big games, he knows how to play with top superior talent around him and against them, because Georgia plays a top-notch schedule in the SEC. So it's a tremendous pick. It filled a need. It's a guy who, again, comes from a winning program, and so I'm looking for big things from him stepping in right away.
And one thing I noticed that I saw on Twitter was Tyreek Hill, actually congratulated these guys coming onto the Butler organization, our first and second round draft pick. So that's great to see someone like that who is new to the organization, but taking a leadership role and saying, hey, welcome aboard. So it's just good vibes all around going on with the Dolphins. And then the schedule gets released in about 2 weeks. So really excited to see, where, when, we're going to be going, who's going to be coming to town, when and stuff. The game I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to be biased, is of course when we go up to Chicago. I'm still raving over Chicago. Shout out to all the people from Chicago. I don't even care if that's a December game and it's freezing. I'm definitely making it to Chicago this year, so cannot wait for the schedule to be released. That'll be fun. I know a lot of good things with Dolphins going on. We're still obviously on the high with Tyreek Hill. And I personally cannot wait till training camp and we start really seeing these pieces in motion, and of course the schedule release. All right, so the Marlins.
Well, hold on. You got to keep up with the Dolphin draft. We also drafted a wide receiver from Texas Tech. His last name, we're trying to. It's Eric Ezekunama, I believe. He's a wide receiver, like we mentioned, and it's not a position that I would have gone with. I would have gone with the O-line, because we have drafted a plethora of O-linemen the last several years, and we're still waiting to see if they've panned out or not. The reason why we brought in Teron from the Saints.
Teron Armstead, yeah.
So, at this point, I think we need to maybe go deep in that position as well, just in case some of these other guys don't continue to develop.
Yeah.
But you can never have enough wide receivers either. Apparently, this kid is quick. He catches the ball well. And, he could factor in on special teams, which a lot of people were saying to have Waddle or Hill run back punts or kicks. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather them not do that.
No, I don't want to risk Waddle taking that hit back there.
Exactly.
No way.
We don't want any of those guys back there receiving or punts or kickoffs.
That reminds me, we don't talk about Waddle back there. No, we don't want Waddle back there.
You don't want it back.
That's giving me high anxiety. Please don't say that.
Yeah, no. So,
Waddle's not allowed to go back there.
So maybe, this kid that just drafted is going to be tasked to do that, which would be just fine with me and I think all of Dolphin Nation out there, because we don't want, those two, the cheetah or the penguin, the Waddle out there, receiving or kickoffs or punts.
No animals a lot back there.
No, we don't want them out there.
Hey, just another thing about the draft. Larry Zonka coming out looked good. He looked good. Granted, we're on 72 teams, so much respect, but hey, Larry, definitely still very loved. Will always be loved by the Dolphin organization, and so good to see you out there.
And it also he promoted the fact that this upcoming season is the 50th year anniversary of the perfect season, and I'm sure they're going to have a bunch of celebrations throughout the course of the year. So
Yeah.
the fact that he was out there and they put up the shield, it said that it's the 72 to 2022, and it's going to be an exciting time to see everything they do to commemorate that the only undefeated season ever. In case you haven't heard about it.
Yes, of course. 72 plus 50 is 2022. So here we are for it. Okay, so no, great. The draft is continuing.
We got two more. We got 2 picks in the 7th round as well.
And I'm just gonna say, obviously people think first round draft picks, top. But there are some great players who went later in the draft, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounds, who, were under the radar and became great stars. And one starts with a T, his last name starts with a B. I don't want to name him on my show, but obviously
we don't talk about that guy or Bruno.
Talk about Brady. But obviously Brady went late, in the draft like a million years ago. Just kidding, not a million years ago, but it's just because I'm a Brady hater. But obviously, for anybody to be drafted, whether it's 1st round, 6th round, it's such a great accomplishment. And even for those who don't get drafted, everybody has a journey, and it's just wonderful to see how it all pans out. Okay.
If you don't get drafted, you don't hear. Hold on. Sorry, had to do it. That's got to be my new ringtone or doorbell or whatever it is. It's a great sound.
We don't have a doorbell. Sorry. I don't want a doorbell.
It's a great sound. I love it. You get excited when you hear
that.
That
as your alarm instead of Okay, yes. I'd rather wake up to that glorious sound of a draft pick than to hear your annoying alarm go off. So perfect.
Consider it, yes.
Okay. Okay, last thing. Miami Marlins. This is a team, honestly, we went into this year with middle to low expectations, right? I wanted to bring Starlin Marte back. That didn't happen. Granted, we signed Soler in the offseason, which, decent. Obviously not decent. He's a reigning MVP of the World Series. But still, there's a lot of room for questions about the Marlins and their future this season. And, of course, look at the division that we play in. There's a lot of talent with the Phillies and obviously the Mets. They just, what they just did the other day against the Phillies or last night. But the Marlins are doing great. And it's fantastic to see our pitcher, one of our pitchers, who you guys probably don't even know, has the lowest ERA in the league right now. And
in all of baseball, not just the National League.
MLB. Yes, MLB. And people don't even know that. And then, we swept the Nationals. We won last night. We won last night against the Mariners. And played the Mariners again tonight. Last time the Mariners were in town, Blue and I had a little squad about this. It was 2014. And Giancarlo Stanton hit a walk-off grand slam. And so, it's a good time when the Mariners come to town. And the Marlins, we sure hope that they can continue this upward trajectory, and the pitching stays strong. Jesus Luzardo pitches tonight. Obviously Miggy is great to watch, and Jazz Chisholm. My favorite is I have two, but Aggie is my definitely favorite, and then obviously Sandy is my favorite pitcher. But no, excited to see where they continue, and I think the NL East, it's not a division where it's like, oh my gosh, it's pretty even. Granted, maybe not on paper, but we look great against the Phillies. We look great against the Nationals. Those are two teams in our league, in our division. So I think we're okay.
Yes, we're okay now. It's very early, but we're off to a great start, especially in the division. As you mentioned, we swept the Nationals. We took 2 out of 3 against the Braves in Atlanta, and 3 out of 4 against the Phillies here in Miami.
That's great.
But we got to play them in 4 or 5 other series throughout the course of the year. It's still just April. I know there's only
May.
Well, that's fine. But good start, good first start for the month of the season. But it's a long way to go. Very pleased the way they're playing, though. Jorge Soler hit a bomb last night. The pitching has been on point, and the bullpen has been holding up leads and making it stick. So really exciting the way that they've started off here, and hopefully more to come. 6 in a row, going for their 7th win in a row. Won't be easy tonight. You mentioned Luzardo's on the hill for us. Yeah. But Robbie Ray, who was the reigning Cy Young Award winner, is on the mound for the Mariners. So it's going to be a tough game to win tonight. But it's all about winning series. Try to get 2 out of 3 every time, and you're going to be in a good position at the end. And we needed to get off to a good start because, as you mentioned, we're in a tough division. Yeah. We haven't seen the Mets yet. They're off to a great start.
But they're the Mets. It's like, how that is. I mean,
Yeah, but Jacob DeGrom, their best pitcher, is yet to pitch, and their lineup is stacked.
They have a solid, so
they
many
have
big
a
powerhouses on their lineup.
Exactly. So we got to keep winning to keep pace because you're not going to win six in a row every time. There'll be sometimes when they fall behind, and so we got to take advantage of it now and ride the hot streak while we can.
It would be so great to see the Marlins in the postseason. After what the Panthers and the Heat are doing, and then Dolphins start strong. Like
that's a long way from now.
Okay, but I miss positivity here. Yeah. I'm thinking if it all happens, like it would be great for South Florida sports, and we'd definitely it would definitely be good for our community, and to it doesn't happen all the time. We're not like a powerhouse like LA, New York, or something like that. To see Miami, who's a very, their fan base is, their fan bases are very.
Well, the Marlins have been through a lot. Let's be real. They've had two championship teams, but they've also been broken down right away in fire sales. So it's tough. It's tough for fans to trust the ownership. Jeter just left, one of the owners.
We still don't really know why.
Right. So that'll come out eventually.
I'm going to get Jeter on one of my shows these days and just say, Jeter, why? And what are you doing now? Like, don't be a fan later. So, it really never came out. Yeah,
that eventually that story will come out. But yeah, the Marlins fan base has been really jaded and toyed with emotionally for since their existence pretty much. So it's tough, but you gotta admire the fact that we're out of the gate strong. And to your point, you mentioned a couple shows ago, why is Jazz batting at the bottom of the lineup? And I don't know if Manley listened to your show or not. And he did. He might have. But he made the move, put Jazz back at the top, and it's the right thing. Jazz is a superstar, and he strikes out a lot. Yeah, he's young, but he's dangerous when he gets on base.
He's so much fun to watch, though. Like his personality and.
Exactly, and that's really catapulted this winning streak that you see now. The fact that he's, the table setter, getting on base, stealing bases, setting it up for the guys behind him. Soler finally came up big last night. Avisal Garcia's starting to come alive, and so if the pitching does its job and
the bats are hot, we'll be good.
Correct. That's what it's got to keep on going. And we're excited. We're going to the game tonight. Should be a fun one. As you mentioned, the Mariners haven't been in town in a long time. It's actually the longest distance between two major league clubs. Seattle all the way in the Pacific Northwest and us all the way down here in the Southeast. It's, I believe, 3,000 miles is the difference.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so it's the longest geographic distance between two MLB teams, so they don't come here often.
You know that they took a bus here? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. That would take a while.
I'm just kidding.
And for my money, they have one of the best uniforms in sports. They have their teal, which I'm hoping to wear tonight. The Marlins used to have teal, and they might rock the old school throwback teal uniforms for the 97 anniversary series against the Brewers. So hopefully they do that as well. But yeah, the Mariners are town. Should be a good time.
The Mariners, when I was a kid, obviously, I shared this somewhere recently. I don't even think I ever told you this. When I was in first grade, we had an assignment where we had a shoebox. You had to bring home a shoebox, and in that shoebox, you had to create what you wanted to be when you were older. So I was 6 years old. And no lie, in my shoebox, I created Yankee Stadium. And I created, the diamond, and I wanted to be the first woman first baseman to play on the New York Yankees. I wanted to take Tino Martinez's spot. And I don't tell that to anybody because I hate the Yankees now. So that's like the big thing, but no, I literally made myself out of clay. Number 24, I wanted to play first base for the Yankees when I was 6 years old. So the point of the story is, by the time, so I fell in love with baseball when I was 5, and I had no outside influence. I don't come from a sport family. It really just grew on me from fun. So that's how I know I started when I was 5 with my love for sports, and then obviously continued. But from the age of 5 to 14, so we're talking 1995 and up, right? That's when it really, really, really was absorbed to me. So point of the whole story, forget the Yankee part. One of my favorite players growing up, Ichiro Suzuki.
There you go.
And I had this thing, this cardboard thing where you pushed it, and it was a little cardboard thing, and he spoke to you. He didn't speak to me directly, but he had some of his words. And so point of the story is I have a love for the Mariners. Ichiro is one of my favorite players growing up. So excited to see them. Just a little bit of my childhood, as I mentioned with you guys with the New Jersey Nets, of course. There's just things to yes, I'm huge Miami sports. They completely have my heart and they consume my life, but I do recognize where I come from. and what got me to this point. And I didn't wake up a Heat fan. I didn't wake up a Marlins fan or a Dolphins fan. You know, there were stepping stones that led me to where I'm at now that I'm forever grateful for. So the Mariners are one. Suzuki definitely made me fall in love with the game as well. So love this story.
Well, when I think Mariners, I think Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, he's the kid. You know, he really put Seattle on the map. One of the best players to ever do it. But yeah, Ichiro was right there with him. Edgar Martinez, another great one.
His career in Seattle.
A-Rod did as well. Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner, Randy Johnson. There's a lot of those Seattle teams in the 90s and mid to late 90s were really popular and really good teams that never got far, but had a lot of great talent. And Ichiro also ended up down here. He played some games here.
Mm-hmm.
I just missed him. We saw him in the series against St. Louis, and then he was on the path to 3,000. He didn't do it here, and then 2 days later he did it out in Colorado. So that was tough to just miss Ichiro's 3,000. And of course, Miguel Cabrera just got his 3,000 hit a week ago today, last Saturday. Miggy, one of the best to do it of all time.
I'm not going to do it in a while. It's going to be
Marlin. Yeah, I mean, you got to do it early. Right now, you know, there's a lot of guys just they're talking about taking games off the schedule, maybe making it 154, 156 games.
It is a long season.
So you lose games and injuries, and you know you rest stars and all that.
And strikes and lockouts and all that.
All that, you know, COVID took away. Exactly.
Play baseball.
Yeah. So for somebody to do it, Miggy came up at 20 years old, made his debut with the Marlins at 20 years old. Fun fact: his first game and his first hit was a walk-off home run for the Marlins against the Tampa Bay at the time Devil Rays before they dropped the Devil.
You can't say that.
Can't say that. That's wrong these days.
But New Jersey Devils. Because we're all the Devils. We're all Devils out there.
Duke Blue Devils. There's a couple exceptions, but not in baseball, I guess. But Miggy had his first hit, a walk-off home run against the Marlins, and he did it as a 20-year-old. So, you know, for somebody to do it again, it maybe have to be somebody that comes up that young and obviously has a long career.
Long projected career to be able to reach that milestone.
So congrats to Miggy, one of the all-time best to ever do it.
Definitely. No, so, right, nothing's going on in Miami sports these days. Well, according to ESPN, they wouldn't tell you that because they're very, like, hush-hush. Even when the Heat, you know, won the series against the Hawks last week, it was more along the lines of, like, Trae Young, poor Trae Young, and Trae this, instead of saying like, hey, congratulations, Miami, moving on, blah, blah, blah. So we are your ESPN of South Florida, but glad to update you with South Florida sports. So head into the Marlins game tonight. And unlike a lot of those other stadiums, we don't have a weather. Well, it's going to be raining. It's raining for the next 5 days, like I told you, but we have the roof. So honestly, it's such a blessing to have that down here because I do not miss weather delays. Rainouts, you know, it's like we are definitely going to that game. And then playoffs. So again, Monday, game 1, Heat, 76ers. Tuesday, game 1, Panthers, Capitals. And then game 2, Wednesday for the Sixers, Heat. And this is all coming from my head. Thursday. So let me just break down. Monday, basketball. Tuesday, hockey. Wednesday, basketball. Thursday, hockey. Friday, basketball. Saturday, hockey. Sunday, basketball. Got it? And hockey, basketball, meaning Heat, Panthers, Heat, Panthers, Heat, Panthers. So cancel your nail appointments this week. Cancel dinner with your aunt. Everything is canceled for after work. You cannot do any work events after. You have playoff games to watch. Hopefully we'll be making it to some of them. Definitely to the Heat games, and hopefully to get to Sunrise this week to catch our Florida Panthers journey to the Stanley Cup. So with that, let's go Heat. Let's go Cats. And let's go Marlins tonight. So until then, talk to you guys soon. Tuesday, I'll be on a show with Miami Sports Music. It's a panel, a ladies panel. So definitely log into that if you guys are around Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. So
are you guys going to be talking about the draft?
Yeah, it's heavy. It's all girls. Here goes the draft music again. Yeah, no, it's.
So you will be talking about the draft.
Okay, so I'll make sure to tell Steven that you'll be emceeing the show that night. So perfect. We'll be talking about the draft.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay. All right, guys. Take care. Go Marlins. Go Heat. Go Panthers. Go Dolphins. Go Red Sox. Take care. Bye-bye.